General of Kenya Union of Journalists, and I'm a co-convener of the group that is seated here called Kenya Media Sector Working Group, which is a coalition of different media entities in Kenya. So I'll start from my extreme left. At least it's also good to hear their voices. Yes. So I'll start with Josephine.
Yeah. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Josephine Karani. I am the chairperson of the International Association of Women in Radio and Television and a member of the Kenya Media Sector Working Group.
Good afternoon. And Joel Karanja is my name. I'm the chairman of Digital Broadcasters Association and part of the Kenya Media Sector Working Group.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Winnie Kamau. I'm president of the Association of Freelance Journalists and also a member of the Kenya Media Sector Working Group.
Hamjambo. Mko poa? Nashukuru. Kwa majina ni Zubeda, rais wa baraza la wahariri nchini. Sisi pia ni co-convener kwa Kiswahili ni wa Kenya Media Sector Working Group. Tunafurahi kuwa na nyinyi hapa.
Hamjambo. Naitwa CEO of Kenya Editors Guild.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. Our statement today, actually, we are not specifically targeting Moses Kuria as a result of his remarks, but we are going to focus on a number of issues that are happening in the government and that are making the government very uncomfortable with the media. Yes, Cliff. Conference. Press conference. So we are trying to tell the government that they'll not divert attention of the public by the theatrics of Moses Kuria, but we have to get some answers and hold the government to account for some of the things that we are seeing happening in the government. So this press conference, I'm not sure if we'll mention the name of Moses Kuria in the course of our press conference so that we don't give him undue publicity is looking for, but we'll be focusing mainly on corruption and misadministration in Kenya Kwanza administration 10 months after they came into power. So that is what we will be focusing on. So we've got about the 11 organizations that are here today that are part of this joint press statement that we are going to issue shortly once you allow us to start. So we'll be able to know some of the organizations when we'll be listing those organizations that are present. So itabidi tumtafutia kiti. David will get us another seat, so for Cliff, so that you can squeeze.
Anaweza kuja hii side. Kuja ni side. Songe ni side.
Yeah, Media Owners Association. So, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, we were waiting for Cliff Achoka to join us, who is the face of the Media Owners Association in this joint press statement that we're just about to issue today. So we are waiting for the cue from you. If you are ready, we go.
Not yet. 1 o'clock news. So it's
1 o'clock.
So we still have got like 4 minutes. Okay. At least you'll also come in at some point. Generally, we're just looking at the attacks on the media. And we're not mentioning Kuria's name today, so that we don't give him unnecessary publicity. Yeah. So we're just looking at the corruption and misadministration. Yakilisha jana.
You should give him a tutu baby. That should be one of the recommendations. We're giving him. See when you hapa tu kwa hiyo toto black. Yeah, it will make a big difference. True.
I haven't seen that issue of calling upon the international community to.
Iko huko chini.
Huko chini?
Yeah.
No. Go.
We call him upon and we'll try. Yeah, we'll call him upon international media freedom. If you give him a blackout for 1 day, he will make noise. Now he will feel the impact. And even the other CSAs who are trying to back him up, they will now retract. Because he's inciting so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about to begin. We'll be giving the signal that we are good to go. Like I said, this is a joint press statement by Kenya Media Sector Working Group, which is a coalition of different media associations and trade unions and the media sector. So this is the press statement. I'll read part of it, then I'll also pass over to my colleague, President of Kenya Editors Guild, Zubeida Kananu, to read the remainder of the statement. So I begin. Freedom of expression and freedom for all citizens to receive and impart information forms the foundation of our democracy. It is for this reason that we affirm our commitments and loyalty to the people of Kenya, whom we serve. We are dismayed that since the Kenya Kwanza administration came to office 10 months ago, it has directed sustained attacks on the media. The most recent attacks have been triggered by a series of stories of corruption in government and other stories projecting voices demanding accountability on the part of the government. The media has a sacred responsibility to the people of Kenya and thus will continue without fear to report on public issues and project the different voices in society as well as speak truth to the power. We read the consistent attacks on the media as attempts to divert public attention from widespread theft of public funds and other governance challenges facing the new administration.
We urge the government to stop targeting and intimidating the media, which is only discharging its responsibility to the public. Instead, the government should respond to concerns by Kenyans on the scandals exposed by the media in the past 10 months, including the diversion of condemned sugar into the market, repackaging and sale of subsidized fertilizer, questions over KEMSA, especially on the mosquito nets fund, concerns over the management of NHIF, which have rendered it unable to serve Kenyans, The questions over favorism in the duty-free commodity imports, including edible oils, maize, and rice.
Sound.
Oh, I repeat.
Change.
Let me see.
Just swap.
Sorry about that. So we're good to go? Okay.
Begin. Let's begin. We urge the government.
So we urge the government to stop targeting and intimidating the media, which is only discharging its responsibility to the public. Instead, the government should respond to concerns by Kenyans on the scandals exposed by the media in the past 10 months, which include diversion of condemned sugar into the market, repackaging and sale of subsidized fertilizer, questions over KEMSA, especially on the mosquito nets funds, concerns over the management of NHIF, which have rendered it unable to serve Kenyans, the questions over favorism in the duty-free commodity imports, including edible oils, maize, and rice, the use of advertising revenue as a tool to blackmail the media, interference with independent institutions, especially National Lands Commission, the Shakahola horror, failure to investigate and take action against those responsible for attacks against journalists, especially during the recent public protests over skyrocketing prices of essential commodities, among other key issues. We wish to state that the media never took a collective position in support of any specific candidates in the 2022 elections. We call on the government to stop this uncalled for propaganda and continued hostile political rhetoric against the media and journalists. We view this as an attempt to blackmail and twist the media into seizing scrutiny of the government and those wielding power and authority. As media, we affirm our commitment to discharging our role, including holding this regime to account for the good of Kenyans, as we have done previous regimes since independence, and restate that we will not be cowed into submission. Okay. Journalists are guided by the commitment to truth and pinned by an ethical code enshrined in the laws of Kenya. We urge those aggrieved by the media to seek redress through the Media Complaints Commission established under the Media Council Act and, where necessary, through the courts. Kenya Media Sector Working Group stands in solidarity with Nation Media Group and all journalists in the country against attacks and threats from the government and government officials. We also call on President William Ruto to issue and firm assurance that they will not be allowed to seek shelter by trying to silence the media that exposes their misdeeds. We are also calling on the international community to intervene and protect media freedom. And this has been signed by 12 organizations which are under the umbrella of Kenya Media Sector Working Group, and that is Kenya Union of Journalists, Kenya Editors Guild, Kenya Correspondents Association, Association of Freelance Journalists, Association of Media Women in Kenya, Digital Broadcasters Association, International Association of Women in Radio and TV, Article 19, Eastern African Editors Society, Frederick Naumann Foundation for Freedom, Association of Professional Broadcasters, and Media Owners Association.
I just want to reiterate that crude... Okay, thank you. I just want to reiterate that crude, abusive, and violent language against the media is not the solution, especially when uttered by people of influence. We, however, reject the invitation to mud wrestling and only insist that those responsible for corruption incidents reported must be action must be taken against them. That's the end of the statement, and unless there are questions, we will be able to respond and also give a summary in Kiswahili or in any other language that those sitting here can speak. Okay. Leo tumekutana hapa kama vile vyama ambavyo vinatetea haki za waandishi wa habari humu nchini, kukemea yale matamshi na matusi ambayo yanatokea katika viongozi mbalimbali katika serikali, tukisema ya kwamba kama waliomba kura wakapewa kura na Wakenya ili waweze kutuongoza, ni kazi yao kuongoza Wakenya na kuhakikisha kwamba visa ambavyo tunapata zile za ufisadi ziliopo katika serikali, lazima serikali ijibu Wakenya. Ni kazi yetu kama vyombo vya habari kuhakikisha kwamba kuna uwazi na pia kuna uongozi bora katika serikali ya Kenya. Sisi sio wanasiasa, wala kazi yetu ni kwa Wakenya. Wao ndio ambao sisi tunafaa kuwahudumia kama Wakenya na kama vyombo vya habari. Tunajua kwamba kuna jambo ambalo pia limekuwa likienezwa na serikali ya kwamba waandishi wa habari walikuwa wanaegemea upande mwingine wa kisiasa wakati tulikuwa tunafanya uchaguzi wa mwaka jana. Tunasema hiyo sio ukweli. Sisi tulikuwa tuna serve Wakenya. Wakenya ndio tunastahili kuwahudumia na sio wanasiasa, na kwa hivyo tunaambia serikali haswa Rais wa Kenya William Ruto kuhakikisha kwamba serikali inawacha tabia ya kuwatusi na kuweka waandishi wa habari katika hatarini, kwa sababu ile matamshi ambayo yanatokea katika serikali nyingine, hizo matamshi yanaweza weka waandishi wa habari katika hatari.
Unajua, inadhalilisha sana wakati kiongozi anadhania kwamba kwa kuwatusi wanahabari inaleta faida kwa serikali au kwa taifa la Kenya. Haileti faida yoyote, kwa sababu inaharibia na kushusha hadhi ya taifa la Kenya. Kuna ripoti ambayo ilitolewa kuhusu uhuru wa vyombo vya habari ambayo imeonyesha kwamba Kenya imerudi hatua kadhaa nyuma katika uhuru wa vyombo vya habari. Kwa sababu mwaka uliopita Kenya ilikuwa nambari 69 kati ya 200. Sasa hivi Kenya iko katika nafasi ya 116 kati ya 200 katika kudhulumu uhuru wa vyombo vya habari. Hiyo inasemaje kwa ulimwengu? Kwa sababu kuna watu ambao wanataka kuja kuwekeza katika taifa la Kenya. Watawekeza vipi katika taifa ambalo haliwapi wanahabari ambao ni jicho la mwananchi uhuru wa kutekeleza kazi yao? Sasa hivi tumekuwa ni watu wa kuchekwa ulimwengu mzima, kwa sababu inaonekana kama kuna vita na uadui kati ya wanahabari na serikali. Hatuna uadui wowote. Kazi yetu sio kupigana na serikali. Kazi yetu ni kuwa jicho la wananchi na kuwafahamisha kuhusu yanayofanyika katika serikali. Ni jukumu la serikali kuwajibika na kuwajibikia matendo yao, pasina kuona wanahabari ni kama adui. Sisi sio adui wa serikali. Unapoangalia tunahitajiana kwa kila jambo, kwa sababu sisi ndio sauti ya mwananchi. Sisi ndio jicho la mwananchi. Wakati jambo linafanyika, wakati kuna habari ambayo serikali inataka kutoa kwa umma, ni jukumu letu kufahamisha wananchi kuhusu yanayofanyika. Lakini tunapoonekana ni kana kwamba tunalengwa na serikali, ni kama sisi ni adui, ni kama tuko vitani na serikali, haisaidii. Wanahabari letu ni kalamu, karatasi, kitabu na kamera ambazo tunazitumia. Hatutumii silaha yoyote. Wakati tunaenda kuangazia matukio nchini, kisha sisi tunakuwa ndio walengwa. Wanahabari wetu waliodhulumiwa hadi sasa hawajapewa haki. Hakuna yeyote ambaye amewajibikia matendo ambayo yalifanyika. Kisha tunapoangalia matatizo ambayo vyombo vya habari vinapitia sasa hivi, badala ya serikali kushirikiana na vyombo vya habari katika kutafuta suluhu, ni vitisho. Mkiangazia taarifa fulani, hatutawapatia advertising. Pesa ambazo zinatumiwa katika hii advertising ni pesa za raia, sio pesa za mtu binafsi katika serikali. Kwa hivyo ni lazima kila mmoja aheshimu kazi ya mwingine, na ndivyo tutaweza kujenga taifa la Kenya. Kenya ni demokrasia, na demokrasia iliyokomaa. Hatuwezi kuruhusu kwamba ulimwengu mzima ionekane kwamba Kenya ni nchi ambayo matamshi ya kejeli, matamshi ya kudhalilisha, matusi yanatumiwa na viongozi walio serikalini. Badala ya kutumia muda huo kwenda katika mitandao ya kijamii kutusi umma, tueleze kazi ambayo unaifanya. Na sisi kama vyombo vya habari, tuna redio, tuna televisheni, tuna magazeti, tuna social media, tutaangazia yale matukio. Lakini huwezi kwenda pale kwa wafuasi waliokuchagua na kukuaminia na nafasi ulionayo, unaonyesha namna ambavyo unaweza kutumia matamshi ambayo yanashusha hadhi yako kama kiongozi binafsi. Na hatuwezi kuambiwa kwamba angalieni, haya ni matamshi ya mtu binafsi. Hakuna vile Zubeda ataweza kujitenga na nafasi anayoishikilia ya rais. Kila ninapokiweka katika mtandao, kinaonekana sio kitu ambacho Zubeda amekiweka, bali ni msimamo ambao umechukuliwa na Kenya Editors Guild. Na ndio sababu tunamuomba rais aweze kusimama na ambie wa Kenya hadharani na ulimwengu mzima kwamba matamshi ambayo wanayaweka pale, endapo ndio msimamo wa serikali, kwa sababu inashusha hadhi ya Kenya na ni kitu ambacho kinastahili kusitishwa mara hii, wakati huu, kwa sababu haileti sifa nzuri. Kenya ni nchi ambayo ilokomaa, nchi ambayo inaigwa na mataifa mengine ulimwenguni, lakini inapoonekana kwamba matamshi mengine ambayo yanatolewa na viongozi serikalini, bila shaka yanaleta aibu kubwa sana na yanastahili kusitishwa.
Asante sana Rais, na tuna pia kutaka kukumbusha Rais na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ya kwamba kuna maswali kadhaa ambazo Wakenya bado wanangoja majibu na nitayasoma. Cha kwanza, kuna kile kisa cha sukari. Sisi tunajua kwamba kulikuwa na ile sukari iliyokuwa iko na sumu, lakini Wakenya waliuziwa. Bado Wakenya wanangojea jawabu. Uchunguzi umefikia wapi na kama hatua nyingine imechukuliwa. Swala la pili ni kuuzwa kwa mbolea. Ili ilikuwa ya serikali ambayo serikali ilikuwa imeagiza na ikateremsha bei ili wakulima wa Kenya waweze kupata mbolea kwa bei nafuu. Lakini tulikuwa tunajua kwamba katika zile ripoti tumeona kwa media kwamba hizo mbolea zilichukuliwa na wale walio na uwezo katika hii serikali na wakazianza kuziuza kwa bei ghali. Pia kuna ile kisa cha KEMSA. Tunajua kwamba KEMSA pia kulikuwa na kisa cha ufisadi ambapo pesa zile zilikuwa zinunuliwe neti za umbu pia zilipotea. Tunataka kujua serikali imefika wapi na uchunguzi. Na pia kuna ile bima ya hospitali NHIF ambapo saizi unajua kwamba watu wanaenda hospitali lakini wanafukuzwa kwa sababu NHIF haiwezi lipa zile pesa ambazo zinahitajika kule kwa sababu pesa zimeporwa. Tunataka kujua serikali imefika wapi na uchunguzi na hatua gani imechukuliwa. Pia kuna ile mambo ya mafuta ambayo ilikuwa imeagizwa hapa na watu wakaketi katika chumba kimoja na wakapanga vile watagawana shilingi bilioni 6. Hiyo pia lazima tujue serikali imefika wapi. Hata wakianza matusi na kututupia cheche za matusi, bado tunangojea majibu. Hiyo uchunguzi imefika wapi na hatua gani serikali imechukuliwa. Na pia kuna ile jambo natumia matangazo ya mambo ya serikali katika vyombo vya habari ambazo wanatumia ku blackmail media. Pia tunaambia serikali ya kwamba pesa ambazo zinatumiwa ni kodi. Tuliambiwa juzi kama waandishi wa habari, niliona mkiambiwa kwamba hii finance bill ikipita pia nyinyi mtaanza kulipa kodi. Kwa hivyo tuna haki ya kuuliza bila hizo fedha zitakavyotumika. Pia kuna ile mambo inaendelea pale Shakahola. Hakuna mtu anatuambia uchunguzi umefika wapi na nini kilikuwa kinatendeka, bila tu kutuambia kwamba leo tumeokoa watu fulani ama leo tumechimbua kaburi fulani. Tunataka kujua wakati haya mambo yalikuwa yanaendelea serikali ilikuwa wapi. Lazima pia tuulize, na serikali iko na Wakenya wako na haki ya kujua ni serikali imechukua hatua gani na uchunguzi umefika wapi. Na pia tunaomba kwanza na pia kwa serikali pia tueleze ya kwamba uchunguzi dhidi ya wale watu waliokuwa wanavamia waandishi wa habari wakati walikuwa na maandamano, uchunguzi umefika wapi na hatua gani imechukuliwa. Tuamalizie hapo. Unless there are any questions you can ask, then we'll respond.
Thank you. My name is Brian Mushin of NTV. Just a question, kwa sababu we've said that the media will not be dragged to a mad fight. The culprits are government officials. As a reporter, I am expected to go and cover a story. So what is the direction going forward? That one is given a total blackout, or one, and note they are still in charge of senior departments in government. So for me as a reporter, what is the way forward?
Okay, that is a very important question, because we know that some of these people we are mentioning here, they are very powerful and very influential people, and they are likely to send their goons to attack journalists when they are going to cover them. So there are two things that we are looking at here. One, if we see and we make assessment and we are convinced that journalists who are going to cover these politicians will not be safe. We will definitely ask these journalists not to cover them. Number two, we will be asking the politicians or any leader or in the government or even in the opposition or even civil society that if you invite media for a press conference, it is your responsibility to ensure their safety. If anything happens to them, then we hold you accountable for whatever happens to a journalist in a function that you convene. So if you convene a function like a press conference we are having here, we are responsible for your safety. So if anything happens to you, we should be held accountable. And the same we also expect from anybody who will be calling, for any newsmaker who will be calling for a press conference or has a function and wants coverage, to ensure that journalists who are there, they are guaranteed their security and their safety. Any other question?
I'm Vijay Karanja from the Association of Media Women in Kenya. My question is, what is going to happen if no measures are taken? Is this something that is going to trend for 1 week and then forgotten, or are there any steps that are going to take next?
Of course, there are some steps that we are going to take. I said that we were trying to avoid mentioning names, but at least what I know that is going to happen, we already have a court process that will start anytime today, so that some people in Kenya Kwanza government can be declared unfit to hold a public office. So I think you'll be seeing those processes going on. We will be going to court under Chapter 6 of the Constitution, so that the court can declare some leaders in Kenya Kwanza administration unfit to hold public office based on the utterances that have been attributed to them.
Kisha pia ni muhimu kujua kwamba licha ya kwamba kuna vitisho havitazuia wanahabari kuangazia matukio yanayoendelea katika jamii. Wanaweza kutisha kila siku, lakini hilo halitazuia Wakenya kujua na kufahamishwa kuhusu kinachoendelea, kwa sababu Wakenya ndio waliowachagua kuwa katika zile nafasi. Wakenya ndio wanaodai uwajibikaji. Uwajibikaji hautoki kwa wanahabari peke yake. Tunadai uwajibikaji. Kwa hivyo hakuna lolote ambalo litafanywa, hakuna kiwango cha matusi ambacho kitawafanya wanahabari kutuangazia matukio, kwa sababu tulitoa ahadi kwa Wakenya kwamba sisi ndio jicho na sauti ya mwananchi. Kwa hivyo hilo nalo ifahamike vyema kwamba sauti yetu haitazimwa na vitisho na matusi.
Na tuwapatie blackout wala wanazidi kufanya hiyo kazi.
Yes.
Yeah, Victoria from Citizen TV. I just wanted to know, moving forward, what will be the step that we take? Because we're dealing with a regime that's increasingly more totalitarian, hostile towards the media. They haven't been afraid to vocalize their displeasure with us. So, you know, and we've seen past regimes shut down the media. And that was after the NASA swearing in. And we don't know what they're capable of doing in the coming months. So what can we do as a collective, as a media, to ensure that we don't draw back to what we saw, for instance, during the NASA swearing in?
Yes, I think that is a very important question. What we are trying to say, and if you read the tone of our statement, we are telling the government they are not going to cede even an inch of press freedom and the space we operate in. Intimidations will come. They will threaten us, but we must stand firm, because when we are joining this profession as journalists, we knew very well that circumstances will come like this where we will become the target of the state. It has happened before during our previous regimes, during our Moi regime, during Kibaki regime, even our media house was raided, even during our President Kenyatta's regime, it happened. So we were not expecting anything new from Kenya Kwanza administration. This has always been adversarial kind of relationship between the media and governments world over. What we are trying to ask the government is, yes, we accept criticism. It has to be there. Yes, criticize us, but let us not go personal, whereby we are using unprinted words against journalists, unless we have proof that actually what they were referring journalists to be actually is true. So we will stand firm, and our commitments, like we said, our commitments are to serve Kenyans, to ensure that we tell Kenyans the truth, and we hold those in power to account, with or without any fear. So that is our position, that we will sit and defend the media freedom that we have already. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name question is regarding the journalists who have been assaulted during the Mangamano period, and also the time back. Zubeida just talked about those journalists have not been able to receive justice since the incidents occurred. My question is now, as the Kenya Union of Journalists and other media practitioners association, will you be waiting for the incidents, maybe the government is provoking us or the government is attacking the media, that's when we come and talk that we also have journalists who are attacked, so that we also bring out our grievances. And as the Kenya Union of Journalists, what step are you doing or what steps are you taking so that we push these journalists who have been assaulted, they can be able to get justice and they be able to be paid and also to operate very well in the country?
Actually, we are in the process of compiling a list of journalists who were attacked and injured during the protest. If you know any, or if you are one of them, please come forward. We are compiling that list, and the matter will go to court, push for compensation. So we are not just making these statements and no action. Action actually has already been taken, and we have got lawyers who are compiling lists. If you know any journalist, if you are a journalist in the room, I know this week we'll be visiting some part of this country just to collect data of journalists who are injured. So if you know any journalist who was injured, or if that journalist is in the room, please get in touch. We will include your name on the list so that when we sue for compensation, you are part of the team.
Final question. Since this government took power and also during their campaign period, you saw the government has really been complaining that the media is against them, and they went even ahead, some of them that mentioning the media houses. As the Kenya Union of Journalists and also the other media practitioners, have you tried to seek and also maybe talk on the side of the government and also find a report from the media houses that have been accused so that we know at equilibrium where we are?
We said that, actually that is also in our statement, we said very well that that is propaganda that has been coined by Kenya Kwanza administration to divert public attention from what is happening in the government, so that they use that to blackmail and twist the media so that we do not focus on what is happening in the government. It's a lie, because this is this body. Did you ever see these great men and women seated here calling a press conference and declaring their support for any candidate, like we are doing right now? So that is a confirmation that what is going on in the government is pure propaganda, which they have developed to ensure that they can twist, blackmail journalists, so the journalists do not focus and expose some of the things that are happening in the government, like corruption and challenges that Kenya Kwanza administration is facing.
My name is Dennis from Past Life Kenya. My question is the weaponization of the war against journalists. If it goes more than the rhetoric and goes to the courts, the way journalists are also seeking redress through the courts, and politicians seek to bar journalists through the courts. What's the plan there?
We have got a very comprehensive legal protection project and programs for journalists. So anything that ends up in court, we will be there to defend. Any journalist will be taken to court by any politician. So we already have very comprehensive systems that we are using to protect journalists either in court or outside court. So don't be intimidated. So long as you remain a professional and you do a professional job, we will defend you. So asanteni sana. Do your work, don't be intimidated. These are kind of a relationship we expect between us and the government. So what you need to do, also your personal safety is important. Don't expose yourselves too much so that you become a victim of the attacks from the government. Thank you so much.
Na pia kujitokeza. When something happens to you or you are threatened, please come out and report.
Yeah.
Don't keep it to yourself.
And make sure you report to the police also. I know, and if you can't be able to reach the police, we have lawyers in the house who can help you and accompany you to the police stations, and you can be able to report. Because if you do not report, you as a journalist, you're doing yourself as a big disservice. Because there will be nothing that, even if we say, IPOA, you need to investigate, what will they be investigating if there's no OB number, if there's no report coming from a journalist? Watakuwa na report hewa. So if you can just come out, if you're attacked, please come out, report. If you need help to go to the police station, we will accompany you. And then once we have reported that, then IPOA now, they have now the legal rights now to be able to go down to that particular police station and mark that particular police person or woman or man, and they will be able to take action. But if you do not report and you just stay quiet, then we'll all be in trouble. Please kindly protect yourselves and allow yourself to protect yourself by reporting, and also report to us as a sector working group. We are different media organizations, so you can reach out to us through our social media handles, through any channel you can be able to reach us. As journalists, this is a time for us to stand up. And if you see kimeumana sana, why not give a blackout to that particular person who is abusing people? Why not? Just do it. Do it and help yourself, because at the end of the day, if you give them a blackout, 1, 2, 3 days, they will realize they've made a mistake and they will come to the table and negotiate. But if they don't want, they're lost, and that's it. There are other places you can be able to cover. So many cases and so many stories that are out there that you can be able to cover, not one particular person. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.